here. It's kind of foggy here. Let's see. Get this glass. Oh, hey. Hey, Instagram, it's me, T, from Patterson's, taking the train to Tibet. Well, get a little closer. Anyway, I already landed my helicopter. Let me land it some more, just in case. Oh, I'm taking it up. What's the matter with me? There we go. Hey, look, I got my wife's hat on. Yeah, but I sort of like this. Third eye. Think about it. Come on now, I gotta be creative. Third eye. But y'all might, I'm gonna leave the third eye there because we're speaking for the third. This is a Tuesday, which means it's a U.S. day. 7 days a week, 7 days. U.S. day. Tomorrow, Wednesday is a World Day. Thursday is an audio drama day. Friday is it's a week wrap-up day. Saturday is whatever comes to my head day. Sunday we read from Tagore because we're in India. Tagore, great Indian poet. On Monday it's a me day. That was yesterday. These are themes that I have because these are commentaries. My nightly whatever was night here. My daily commentary that happens later on in the day because in the morning we have our grand rising reports. See how that works? Anyway, so this is oh boy, stuff is happening. Let me bring this down. Let me bring my helicopter down a little bit more. Now look, this is a U.S. day. Let me concentrate on reparations. Yes, let's do that. There's a lot of stuff happening in the U.S. They're up to their usual military adventures, because you know how the U.S. is. They basically they try to enforce their will on the world through military. Like say the U.S. dollar is backed by the military. Didn't have the military, like that. We're in India, so forgive the dogs. No, they're just there. It's an Indian reality, right? Is that right? Oh yeah, it's Indian reality. So there's dogs, right? Anyway, talk about the dogs of war. Anyway, but here's the thing. The U.S. has a habit of picking on small people. You see, the nuclear things stopped a whole lot of the big fights, but they pick on small people. So that the thing is they want to knock off small people and then finally get to the big prize, you know what I mean? The bigger people. But the bigger people have what they, forget that. Now, let me say this. I want to do reparations. And here it is. We have an opportunity as the U.S., the dump man and his minions are busy, was he supposed to be a peace guy or something like that? Like when Obama came in, Obama was supposed to have been he won a Nobel Prize for peace. But then this guy comes in, I guess, you know what it is? You know what it is, Brother Donald? He wants to beat, anything somebody has accomplished, he wants to be better, beat them, he wants to be the grand hoo-ha or whatever it is. So anyway, so now he's supposed to be the people. In fact, he came in saying he's going to end this and Gaza that and build a Riviera, this, whatever have you. Now he ends up, start continuing the fight. Notice I said continuing the fight, because if the thing started with under Obama and Biden, he's just continuing the stuff that they put in place. Okay. But let's leave that alone for now. This is because there's other stuff happening in the world, but I know we're supposed to deal with U.S. politics. Let me deal with reparations. This is a golden opportunity for reparations. Now I know a lot of you don't do strategy and tactics, right? Let me close this door because these dogs are getting kind of annoying. No, I'm gonna leave it on. Listen to the dogs of war. They're good background, dogs of war. Now, here's a golden opportunity. Now, while the Democrat, whatever they are, is in turmoil because they ain't got no leader, and the leaders that they have on board are all spastic. I don't use the word spastic. I know I'm not supposed to be calling any names because I'm acting like the Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. He talks about, you got to be on code. Now, a lot of people say code, but they don't know. Meaning that you don't call people names. You call them what they say they are. You know what I mean? I guess if I say a whole group, But you just said the Dumpman, but that's his name. Trump need Dump. Dump was his original name from back wherever for his European thing. So I'm not calling him out of his name. I'm calling into his lineage. Hey, see? Come on now. So instead of him calling him some other historical figure, why don't you call him into his history? That's it. That's a strategy and tactic. Let me put it that way. But let's leave him alone for now. Let me go back. We're talking reparations now. Now, one thing I'm tired of, people talking about they on code. First of all, we have to ask them what is code? Because we need troops. Look, people say that we're in a war. Okay, we're in a war. Well, now, I don't know if any of your people be in war, right? Now, I was in a war, but I wasn't in a war, right? In other words, I'm a Vietnam era veteran. There's a distinction, right? Like, I was in from 1970 to 1974, I was in the military, in the Air Force. But even if I went to war, I was a lab technician, so they have to give me an air-conditioned tent. But then I still would have been affected by Agent Orange because that was all over the place. But the point is, they're distinct. There's people that remain in the country, like me. There's people that were outside of the country, but not in theater, not in Vietnam fighting. You know, they might have been in the Philippines, Germany, wherever they were, right? And then there's people that were in theater, in the fight, right? And there's different branches, right? But the thing is, when I noticed this throughout the years, every one of us has a different sort of mentality. Now, because I was never left McGuire Air Force Base, but I never left the States. It went from Texas to Ohio to New Jersey, right? I left because, well, I had a good time. I say I had a good time. I was on code. I did the work of the Black Panther Party, the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. You know, I turned my dispensary into a place where we did sickle cell screening, which maybe I did whatever. The sickle cell screening, we did lead poisoning screening, we did charity work out of Philadelphia that raised money for for various civic organizations. We did community work. I turned my whole lab into the base, because I started a group called Black. Don't worry about all that stuff. My point is, wherever you are, you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? Now, first of all, let me identify myself completely, right? My name is Anthony John Sloan. Let me now, decipher that for you. The Anglo meaning of Anthony is incomparable, right? John in the pantheon of enslaved people was that slave that could read and write and did the errands for the master, right? And but he was cunning. He always act like kind of dumb. You know, when you go to town, because they had to wear, those call them dog tags, placards that say, oh, you belong to so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. That would get him passed through, right? So, but, he would be slick. He used to do all kinds of stuff. He's a slick guy. He's a cunning guy, right? Sloan, my last name, Anglo meaning of Sloan, is warrior. So I'm actually the incomparable, cunning warrior. That is my identifier. They ask you, what do you identify as? As the incomparable, cunning warrior. Now, if I want to claim that title, if that's my name, I got to live up to my name. You got it? And the war I'm in is a war of I call it the ultimate. Well, I call it ultimate liberation. Okay, we're at a moment in time where we're poised for ultimate liberation. Or things are happening all over the world. Now, how does this happen? Now, let me explain. Right now, when the dump man and his minions are doing what they're doing, thinking they're going to take over this country or take over that country or do this or do that, well, let them do that. That's not your concern. You don't even react to that because you got other things to do. So, the best way I can put it, okay, I sort of, we'll do in chronological order. I guess it's chronological. There's this, I saw it when ADOS, Yvette played this thing, but I saw it other places too. With Fred Hampton, he was, back in the day, in the 60s, some people approached him, right? And they said, we're going to do this for the community. They had this plan, right? And he looked at it, he said, well, that's good, but first you got to educate the people, you know. I just clicked that. I said, whoa, that's brilliant. Your boy, 21 years old, you know. He's like Commander Ibrahim, Ibrahim Traore, the head of the land of the upright people, right? Young man speaking to young people about problems that they can solve. I'm saying that we can solve, right? But I also was thinking of Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, right? Right? Well, I saw a clip of him when he was doing something. Somebody said, well, so-and-so died or something like that. He said, he's gone. And he went back to what he was doing. We had a moment right now. We ain't got no time for reflection. The person you take in their spirit, if they got a warrior spirit, to move on, right? Now, in a war, right? Again, I was part of the medical corps, if you put that. If I went to Vietnam, I'd be part of the medical corps, a unit. You know what I mean? As a lab technician, in fact, in the medical corps, I'd be a lab technician, like that, right? Now, if you're in a war and we have designations, not everybody can be the the leader, the commander. There's only one commander-in-chief. The U.S. got the Donald right now. That's their commander-in-chief. I insist that Africa has Commander Ibrahim. He's our commander-in-chief. When I say Africa, I mean not just all of Africa, but the diaspora too. So it's going to be the commander-in-chief of the United whatever, and the commander-in-chief of Africa United. Let's put it that way. That's the battlegrounds, right? They said, what about the Middle East? They're always on the sidelines. They're always looking around to be opportunists. You know what I mean? Like that. I'm telling you. Look what's happening in Yemen. All these countries surround, all these Arab or whatever they are, countries surrounding around Yemen, they're not giving them no support. Yemen is a poor country. They're not giving any support. In fact, they got deals with Israel here and so there and da. So they work against the thing. You see, just like some of the. Let me not do that because then we'll destroy this whole thing. But here's my thing. So you have these units, right? Like I told you, I'm of the. I told you my name. Oh, I had first is a group called the Blue Light Brigade. Don't worry about them. They're anonymous, right? They know who they are. You don't have to, right? But then I have another group that I don't talk much about. It's called, you ready for this? The Sloan Warriors. Sloan Warriors. Now remember, my last name is Sloan. It means warrior. So these are the warriors. So we are like the tip of the spear. Like they have a spear, you know, the traditional thing like that. The spear, I think I have a spear on it. You got the drum, whatever. You got a spear, right? We're the tippy tip of the spear. Now there's other people on the spear, they got other things to do, you know. There's the people that blah, 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 blah all the time. There's the people that say, oh, they got like that. But we are so lasered, that if we even come near to you, you can feel that sharp, that's a child of Ogun, I can tell you. You can feel that sharp piece of iron, that steel, that will cut you just by looking at you. I travel the world. When I I travel the world. I travel the world. And I can tell another child of Ogun. There's all different cultures. Remember, every culture, you have different melanated people in that culture. But you also have, that's one thing, people hooked up on this melanation, whatever. I got you. I'm there with you. Okay, fine. But there's this other warrior class. My other peoples. Now, I identify with the downtrodden. I can easily find a warrior. Well, the warriors in the downtrodden, we're different. Don't worry about that part. So what I'm trying to say is this. So since we're the spear, we got work to do, right? And the work that we do is different than the work these other people do. So you got people, like they say, back to this code. We got to be on code, you know. Well, where'd you get the code from? What code are you talking about? Oh, you talking Mr. Neely Fuller Jr.'s code? Oh, let us talk about this. First of all, you need to read the books. Okay, maybe you don't want to read the books. Okay, like that. Now remember, I talked about read the books. Okay. Code. Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. started this research on his code, or jotting notes, the thoughts of his code that he started to write down from 1957 till he passed this earlier this year, 2020. So from 1957 to 2025, the man had been developing the code and explaining the code. When I say explaining the code, even if your excuse is, well, I ain't read the books, I don't read, I don't have reading comprehension, I can't read between the lines, I can't decipher this stuff. Well, he even for the last, I don't know how many years I've been listening to it, but for the last, he was talking in the 60s. He was at First World Alliance. Look, he has acolytes, direct acolytes with well, she's passed now, but Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, but there's other acolytes that he has, right? But he's been talking weekly on the internet for, I don't know, 10 years, whatever, in various forms. And sometime, I got a break on these people. At some particular point, the last 5 or 6 years, maybe it is, he got a management team from, first on Talktainment, then he went to this other thing, Produce Justice people. They are managers. Now, whenever you have somebody, see, us warriors, we're not managed. We're warring. You can't manage a warrior. Okay? You said it's like, you know what it's like? The film Platoon. You ever see the film Platoon? Great film about Vietnam, right? The new guy comes in. What's the name, son? The guy that played the president, son. What was it? Charlie Sheen? Yeah, Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen movie, right? He's the name. And his father was in Apocalypse. He's the one that Martin Sheen played, the guy that went after Kurtz, whatever. Don't worry about that part. And what the film is about, when this guy comes to base, he's already been trained, basic training, comes to base, and there's the Willem Dafoe character who's like, call him the Ogun character. Call him like the scout. That's like what I am. Then you have the Tom Berenger group, which is like, call them the whitey supremacists. That's all right. And then you have the brothers. Now the Willem Dafoe character, he can hang out with the brothers. He talked to the white supremacists, but when he's got to go on a mission, and then let me go back. So these camps, the white supremacists and Charlie Sheen, I don't really the black people. They're sort of vying for the soul of the Charlie Sheen character, right? That's what the film really is about. But when the Willem Dafoe character has to go out, he got to go out alone. He can't be carrying he can't be no orders. He got to go. Boom. The white supremacists got so miffed or jealous or whatever it is, or they wanted to cheat. What they do? They unalive him. Secretly unalive him. That's how they operate. They operate in groups. The Duff Man and his minions, right? That's how they operate. Anyway, back to the point. On code, that's what we're talking about. I get sick and tired of people talking about their own code. They don't know what code is. First of all, on code, you can't talk about another person. You can't even talk about the enemy. So when you're calling people this name or that way, you are this or you are that, whatever, that's not code. And let me, one more, I got to take one tiny thing. Because there's a lot of people say, oh, you can't be with the white people, the snow bunnies, and I judge you by this. If you do that, and you hanging out with white people, then you're not on code, right? That means you ain't read the book. Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. says clearly, and if you can't read the book, don't understand from the book, and the way the book is laid out, the textbook, workbook, compensatory concept, textbook, workbook, but thought, speech, and action. A lot of people, they have thoughts, they mangle his thoughts, then they speak the mangled thoughts, and they got no action at all, no action, right? But here it is. You can marry out of your race, but you just can't marry it under the system of racism, which Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. defines as white supremacy. Let us be clear. So say, for instance, you want to marry this, here we go. Now I'm not gonna call the people name. This other person outside of your grouping, right? Well, the first thing you both got to do, everybody's got to do, you've got to get rid of the system that doesn't allow that. The system of racism, white supremacy. So your work before you kick boots or whatever it is, you got you got to do the work of getting rid of that system. So that when that system is done, then you all live happily ever after. In a weird sense, look, I'm married to my wife. She made this cap. Let me turn around so just in case she's looking. This is the way it's supposed to. This is the way it's supposed to be. Sorry, baby. That's I know. I sort of like that third eye. Oh, here's another third eye. I didn't notice that. Third eye there. Look, she is her lineage. Her lineage goes back to the San people, the original people of Southern Africa. Little guys with the bow and arrow and running you down, or whatever. Got a lot of clicks and stuff like that. That's one part of it. And also, she has Zulu in her lineage, so they understand. Oh, and Zulu. Oh, stop me with the Zulu thing. Zulu was a small little tribe that just, like the U.S., like the dump man, like the U.S., just absorbed a bunch of other tribes, and then they became bigger. And they're constantly trying to prove that they're not a small tribe. So they constantly do stupid things. They become assassins and whatever they blah 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 blah. Then the closer, did you know the closest when the Zulus came to the Eastern Cape, and I got this from an elder, a real elder. Yeah, Brother Ati. Don't worry about it. In fact, the closest one that had the short spear and whatever. They beat up on the Zulus, send them back packing. That's that whole legend, that whole thing about they killed everybody and let a couple of people go back and tell them, hey, go back and tell you folks what happened. And if they want some more beef, come on, we got something for them. So Zulus can say what they want, but if you know the history, if you read, then just because they got pressed from the English or whatever. Oh, let me not be damn. I'm not calling them out their name. I'm just talking. Anyway, so I'm saying my wife, so in a way, and she's black, she's dark, she's melanin in her skin, right? So in a way, I am married out of my culture. But I got to wage war, So just like olden times, when I'm not with her for a while, baby, what you doing? I'm doing God's work. I'm sorry. Went off on that. Hey, let's talk about God for a second. Hey, look, let me explain something to you. I'm sorry, I'm back to my word, but let me just finish this real quick. If you're a Christian, you say you're a Christian, which means you're a follower of Christ, or you get your information through the Christ line. Well, if you're not reading, you're supposed to be reading just the red letter edition of the Bible. That's what Christ said, right? If you read the whole Bible, you're not a Christian, you're a Biblican, which means you're really confused. You folks, you Muslims, you Islam, you Muslims, right? You're saying like, then you're Sunni, you're whoever, whatever it is. Well, that means that you branched off from the prophet, peace and blessings on the eternal soul, right? You need to bring your folks back together, and don't allow these people who giving you a bad name by killing people in your name. It's like the Christians. People are killing people in Christianity's name, in Islamic name. Why you allow that? If you are true faithful, then you wouldn't allow that. I'm just being logical. That's all I'm saying, But let me not stay on that because y'all get angry at me. And because you always want to shoot. In fact, I'm not even a messenger. I'm the scout. I go out and I scout. A scout is different than a spy. A spy comes back and sort of tells the whoever they're spying for, whoever gives them their license to spy, things that they want to hear. A scout goes out, see what's going on, comes back and tell you what's happening, and say, look, gotta go, and they're gone. You got to interpret that with the scout. The scout will tell you the facts. You got it? So, what am I saying? Now is an opportune time for us because they're busy doing what they do. The question is, what do we do? Reparations If we reparations, not just everybody want the bag, you want the bag. Yeah. There's more to that. So you get the bag, right? Or we get the bag. Okay, that's one thing. But look, one of the things for reparations, we especially as folks, if you're American African, if you come to that line from from captive and slave, the whole thing, the red line and the whole thing, Jim Crow, up to the prison pipeline. Then our reparations, we need to make the FBI open all their files completely. That's part of our reparations. We want to see what the history is. If you're in Africa and Caribbean, or you're in Africa, and you have demands for reparations, aside from getting your antiquities back and your gold and your root and your jewels like that, you need to you big enough, talk to the Catholic Church, make them open their archives. That's reparations. Come on, let's start thinking. Let's start thinking, please. No, please, I'm telling you. Stop being a little narrow focus. Okay, you can narrow focus if you wish. But there's other people on that sphere. That sphere is pretty big. That can do other things. You don't put them down for what they're doing. You don't call them names. They could be spies. That's scouts. Spies. You don't know what they are. So all you people are blah, 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 and don't know what code is, you just don't know. Be informed. I'll talk to y'all later. I got to go. Got to go.